It was a warm Sunday afternoon in Delhi about 4 years ago, and I had just finished pitching my business to 5 wealthy men in white and gray shirts. And my brain was just about to freeze after all that questioning that had gone on for almost 2 hours now. I shook their hands and I was about to leave when one of them, who hadn't spoken throughout the meeting, decided to accompany me to the lift. After exchanging the usual pleasantries, he's like, Arush, kamal hai yaar, tune to kamal kar diya. And I was like, yes, boss. He didn't speak through the meeting, but he likes the idea. Investment milne wala hai. And he goes, यार तूने एक तो तूने अपनी बीवी के साथ बिजनेस शुरू किया और ऊपर से उसने अपनी मम्मी को भी ले लिया. Commendable, यार, very good. I could have never worked with my wife and my mom. And I was like, I didn't know what to say. But a few seconds later, it dawned on me that it really wasn't that easy, right? एक तो पैसे नहीं थे. ऊपर से I had come back from Singapore, leaving that comfortable life, a running income. And you come back here and what do your relatives tell you? Beta, Australia chale ja. Canada migrate ho jaye yaar. That's what all good Punjabi kids do. Go settle there, right? But the fact that I had two very strong women in my life who stood by as pillars, who supported me. First woman, my wife Megha, who's also my co-founder, and my other co-founder, my mom Nina, who actually plunged me, literally pushed me into taking that decision to become an entrepreneur. And that's how I returned to India with just 4 lakhs of rupees and tons of passion to start in a hyper-competitive industry, which is beauty. And that's how I became an entrepreneur. So today's talk is basically about 9 things I wish I knew earlier as an entrepreneur. Samir ji, sorry for the 9-point format, but I think it really works because it tells people how much more they have to listen to me, right? So you know how much of the talk is still left, right? So the first lesson was that the right time to start was yesterday and the next best time is now, right? So guys, good decisions, they don't need deliberation, they need action, they need execution, right? So please do not make plan B, plan C, plan D, plan E, right? Because, I don't know anybody who sailed on 2 boats and reached the shore, right? You cannot be just a little pregnant. You either are or you're not, right? So if you've made up your mind for something, just take a deep breath and dive right in, right? That's what I did. Because if you don't do it now, then this moment that just went by, somebody else would be building something and you would just be thinking. And I feel guilty that I wasted 1 whole year in taking that decision to come back to India. I wish I could have done that earlier. The next lesson, timing is everything. That's what everybody tells us, but don't be too early and don't be very late. So in 2014, when Megha and I came back to start Just Herbs, most beauty brands didn't even have a shopping cart on their website, right? It was just a catalog and people would tell us, who's going to buy a face cream online, right? How can you sell a face cream? You need to touch it, feel it, you got to smell it, and that's when you will buy it. And it's too early. People are not going to buy face creams online. Was it too early? How do we tell? We didn't have the money to set up offline distribution. That takes a lot of money. So what I did was I logged on to Upwork, I hired a web developer somewhere in Nepal, and we got our first website made. And I got my own credit card out from whatever savings I had, and I started buying traffic from Facebook and started driving that traffic to the website. What we also did was we have a facility here in Mohali, not very far away from here, where we use natural produce to make our products. So we would make those little videos and post them on Facebook. And guess what? People actually started buying the products. So it was the right time after all, right? So guys, please do not try to time the market, right? Please don't, there's nothing like right place, right time. Even a broken clock is right twice a day, right? So if you keep at it, you will get the right timing. The third thing, which I cannot stress enough on, is progress is not linear, okay? So I think till 2018, we ran as a bootstrapped company, meaning that we didn't have any external investors. Our customers, people like, you and I, they were basically funding the business, right? But soon we realized that if we want to make this big, we will need to get our products in the hands of more and more people. We would need to hire a team, and for that, we will need capital. And that's when the most grueling part of being an entrepreneur and my least favorite of being an entrepreneur started, which is raising capital from investors, right? And that is where I think the biggest learnings come from, is that you will, so I think I mixed up a point here. I think what I'm talking about is point number 4. We'll do this first and then we'll go back. So raising money from investors is like being in a kickboxing match, basically. So you get kicked on the face every day, you shed blood every day, and then every next day you have to get up and be ready to fight again. And while doing that, you have to make business plans, you have to travel, you have to pitch your business to investors, and grow your numbers month on month, right? So Megha and I would have pitched to almost like 50 plus investors, and all of them said basically to buzz off. They would say things like, we don't have our internal thesis on this sector. Your numbers need to grow a little more and then come back to us. Some of them just didn't respond, basically took all our sensitive data and ghosted us, right? But the biggest blow on our faces was when 2 very big name venture capital funds from India signed agreements to invest in our company after giving us term sheets. That's like saying कि शादी पक्की है, बारात corner पे खड़ी है, कार्ड वार्ड छप चुके हैं, खाना वाना ready है, and then they back out, right? And that happened to us not once, but twice. The second time it happened was in the middle of the lockdown, where stress levels were really, really high because business was down to 0. We had to worry about our team. And these people who engaged with us for 9 months decide to back out, right? They'd even checked our birthdays and anniversaries. They'd invited us for a virtual dinner, which they do for their new investee companies. And Megha, being Megha, was even wondering what she's going to wear for that virtual dinner on Zoom. And they just decided to back out, right? I did not get out of the house for like 7 days, I think. It felt like all the zeal, all the enthusiasm to build our business had left our bodies, leaving a hollowness inside. Megha was very, very down too. But soon, I looked at the numbers, right? And I saw that we probably had the best month in the history of the company, right? And we've been growing every month for the past 3 months, even when both the founders are busy pitching to investors and the team is handling the business. That's when we thought, what are we worried about, right? So we called up our existing investors, Roots Ventures, God bless them. Big shout out to them. We told them, like, guys, this is what has happened, and we mutually decided that we're going to give this whole drama a break for some time. We will take 2 months off. We will look at all the mistakes that we have made in the past. We will fix those things in our business. And after 2 months, we will go to market again to raise money all over again. And that's what we did after 2 months. After 2 months, the same pool of investors, right? The same process over and over again. We had around 4 to 5 term sheets, and we chose the best partners for ourselves. We sold a controlling stake in the company to Marico, which is a massive FMCG company, as you all know. We gave a handsome exit to our investors back then. And that was a great outcome. So develop a thick skin, right? Be ready to get all those punts and kicks on your face, because entrepreneurship is like that. Now, coming back to the point that I was talking about earlier, which is that progress is not linear, right? So when we started our business, we were very excited, when we started getting orders, etc. We would keep checking, who's ordered, who is this person who likes our products, and if it was from in and around Chandigarh, Megha, I would personally go and, deliver those products. And I remember it was our first Diwali as a young startup, and we were sitting on tons of inventory. We were really excited to crush the sales that season, and guess what happened? The website crashed because the IT team was outsourced and they were all on holiday. And here we were with 0 sales and tons of inventory sitting in our warehouse with basically no numbers, right? So your plans, your projections, etc., will almost never materialize, okay? So that was my initial days, but most recently I was just mentioning to somebody about the store we opened in Mumbai, right? So opened the store in the middle of Juhu in January. 3 months later, the national lockdown gets announced. Plans almost never materialize. We were thinking of launching lipsticks, and now we were wondering who's going to wear lipsticks under that mask, right? So your plans are never going to materialize the way you think they will, but that does not mean that you don't have a business plan, right? You do need to know where you're going, but as long as where you are today from where you started, if your arrow is pointing in the upward direction, you're okay. Because progress, my friends, is not linear. It's more like what you see in the lower half of this slide. Point number 5 sounds very basic, but very important if you want to be an entrepreneur. Please stay fit mentally and physically, right? We talk about things like hustle, unicorn, startup, founder, but nobody really talks about the fact that all this takes a very big mental toll on the entrepreneur. It's quite lonely out there. And, not everybody is cut out to take that pressure. So you have to be sure that you are fit both mentally and physically for the long haul. And here I want to make a confession. I haven't been doing yoga for the past 4 months. I want to put it on record so I can hold myself accountable that I can start from tomorrow. The next 3 points are all around team building, right? Because if you want to build a company that will scale, there's only one thing that will decide that, which is the team that you can build, right? Because entrepreneurship is a team sport. It's not a badminton match or a tennis match. It's more like cricket. It's more like football, right? So in the beginning, you can hire generalists who can do everything. But soon enough, you will need the best spinner on the planet, the best fast bowler, the best wicket keeper, the best goalie, the best center forward. You get it? You will need specialists, basically. And you need to hire A-level players. What I mean by that is that you need to hire people who are very good at their job, who will then also hire A-level players, and it makes the culture of high performance and excellence in the company. And when you're choosing between 2 candidates, the first candidate seems perfect in every way. He's a smooth talker, he has the skills, he's very impressive, he or she, as the case may be. And there's another one who's not that savvy with skills or with the way they communicate. But there's something about the first candidate which tells you that this guy can't be trusted, okay? Just drop him or her. Avoid them like the plague, right? The best armies in the world, and these are groups of men and women who are willing to give their lives for a common cause, and that's the type of startup you're trying to build. The best armies on the planet are built on trust. A team, in fact, is nothing but a bunch of people who trust each other. So I need to have that trust that when I'm going to pass you the ball, you are going to kick it into the goal. I don't care what your qualifications are. I don't care what your skills are. If you can't be trusted, you are not entering my team. And I think that's a filter you should use while building your team. That's choose trust over skills. And finally, hire people smarter than you. You do not need yes men and yes women joining your team, right? When you're sitting with your team, you need to be the dumbest person in the room, right? So everybody, your HR, your design person, whoever, has to be so good at them that they make you look really stupid, right? That's when you know you've hired the right people. And you are not even the leader. You're not even the captain of the team, right? You're more like the coach. You're more like the coach. So your duty is to bring the best out of them. Your duty is to make them develop that muscle, which they can flex, when needed. So that's the team that you need to build. And finally, for all those of you who do not want to be entrepreneurs, but still very graciously listen to me and hopefully paid some attention, I've got good news for you, because you don't need to be an entrepreneur. You can still be entrepreneurial in whatever you do. Whether you work in a manufacturing setup, whether you work in a law firm, wherever. You will be required as you grow to take decisions. You will be required to make a team. You will need to be accountable for numbers. And if you do that successfully, you would have shown entrepreneurial skills. And that will always ensure, A, you will have a job. B, you will progress in your career. Not always linearly, but you will progress, right? So those are my 9 points. And before I finish, I'd just like to say, entrepreneurs do not wait for things to happen. They make things happen. Thank you.